Welcome to the Fit Rich Life podcast, a show where we talk about money, entrepreneurship, fitness, and building a life you absolutely love. In today's special guest episode, I get to interview Haythem Naji, one of my favorite online writers. Haythem teaches people how to write online, grow an audience, and grow an online business. In this episode, here's some things you will learn about. 1. Haythem's journey from isolation and failure to a globally connected creative. 2. His epic journey to learning how to make money online, including how he made $10,000 in a single day after 10 months of making nothing. 3. Strategies for writing and growing on Threads and other micro-writing platforms. 4. Reinventing yourself through travel and changing your environment. 5. Books that changed his life, and a whole lot more. This is a great show for anyone interested in building an online business around one's interests, as well as living a happy life. Haythem's deep wisdom will empower you on your own money and life journey. Please enjoy a wide-ranging conversation with Haythem Naji. Haythem, my brother, welcome to the show.
Justin, thank you for having me.
Super excited to talk to you. And to start this interview off strong, I'm going to set the scene. So from failing English to building a thriving business with words, from self-imposed misery to global freedom, you're going to want to hear this transformation. Haythem, tell us why you escaped to Australia after high school.
Yeah, after high school, I grew up in Germany, couldn't speak English, and I escaped to a country which only speaks English because I just didn't want to be here. Everything. I just wanted to escape Germany. Like, it was hard to grow up here as an immigrant, and I heard Australia is nice. So I saved up some money and I just took a one-way flight to Australia, and everybody hated it. My parents hated it. And I just did it, and for 3 months, the first 3 months were horrible. Like, I couldn't make friends, couldn't speak the language. I was stumbling over my words and I couldn't. And now fast forward like 8 years later, I'm making money with writing in English. So still to this day, when I think about this, it's so crazy. It's so crazy to me. This is so crazy. Like, you can do anything because I just escaped and then learned English, and at that point didn't even know I want to do what I do now. And then I learned the language, and from there on everything exploded,
Yeah. So what caused, I know a bit of your backstory. So I don't know if you want me to share it or if you want to share it, but growing up you have Arabic roots, but you grew up in Germany. And you just felt like you never fit in. But during high school, or at least, earlier in your childhood, you had a girlfriend who made you feel like you belonged.
Exactly. That was the first time. It was my first real love. She made me feel like I'm important, and it was the first girl who loved me, and she made me feel like I belonged, because before that, I had friends who jumped ship whenever things got serious, or like I never really thought I had like a good friend, and when she came along, she became my world. She became a whole world, and she made me feel like I belong, and I kind of felt safe. And then when we broke up, my whole world crumbled. Like, I saw Germany in a bad way because as an Iraqi, as an Iraqi, growing up in the Arab culture, I felt really limited because my German friends could do anything they want and I couldn't, And then Germany was judging me on my Arabness, like Arabic roots. I'm really thankful for Germany, but this part was very causing the non-belonging. And then when we broke up, I just had this intense need to escape everything. I just don't want to face anything anymore. I didn't want to face the Arabic culture because it was very restrictive. I didn't want to face the German culture because it was very, it was telling me I'm different, and I didn't want to. I just wanted to leave everything behind and start fresh, because I heard that in Australia, like, you can find a job and work, and you can just have a good life there, So I just grinded for like 3 months to get and then as a waiter to get enough money for the flight. And then I bought my visa, bought the flight, went there, and then I just was in Australia for a year. Then, yeah.
So help me piece together your story. Like, obviously, you just shared with us how you went to Australia after this, heartbreaking breakup with the one person who made you feel like you belong. How did you go from Australia then to, moving towards building an online business? Because I feel like there's a gap between like, you barely spoke English when you went to
Yeah.
Australia, and then suddenly you're not only speaking English, but you're making a living as a writer online. So like, help us like fill in the story.
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge gap between Australia and where I'm at now. There's so much stuff happened there. First, I learned the language quick because I was forced to, right? If you force yourself to do something, you're gonna learn quick or you drown, right? And I couldn't go back to Germany. The first 3 months, all I wanted is to go back, but I couldn't go back because I told everybody I'm gonna leave. So it was like my proud leave, like making me stay there. And I learned the language, and then afterwards, I came back with this newfound, like people when I came back thought I completely lost it. I was very different in a sense. Like I was very out there in my thoughts. I was like, you can do anything you want. I was kind of like in the self-improvement thing, and I was very emphasizing on seek discomfort. I wanted to make myself go out of my comfort zone wherever I can. I was speaking to people on the streets. I was holding up a sign on the streets, in the middle of the city, and I was saying like, "Come talk to me." I ran a marathon without training. I was doing all the things just to get out of my comfort zone, and with no real purpose behind it. I was just like trying to. I thought like I learned this was a good way of growing because I saw how much I grew in 1 year, putting myself forcefully out of my comfort zone. I wasn't even aware that I was doing that when I went to Australia, but then afterwards it became like a thing of mine where I was always doing new stuff and trying out new stuff. And then I came back. I was working in a school for handicapped children, so I was doing it for like a year. And then I was like, damn, that's really cool. Like, I really love doing that. So let me just study psychology because that was the most interesting part about it. I studied psychology, and meanwhile, I was traveling while studying. Like, I fell in love with traveling since then because then I could speak English, and I felt like when I was traveling, I was belonging. People loved who I am. They were asking about my two cultures. Like, wow, you're German, but you grew up in Germany, but you're Arab. How cool is that? I never heard this in my life. Somebody saying this to me. It was always like this. He's Arab. Like, and now I had this like people were interested in me as a person, and I loved just uh, the recognition I got then. And then I fell in love with traveling. I studied psychology. I finished my degree, and then after I finished my degree, I made a jump that now in hindsight made everything kind of possible. I So the first reset I had in my life was Australia, like me going alone there by myself. The second big reset I had was after I finished my studies. My friend was doing a PhD in Ethiopia, and he was telling me, "Hey man, you should come to Ethiopia." So then I left Germany again and went to Ethiopia for 3 months. And then Ethiopia really cracked me open because everything I believed was normal wasn't normal anymore. Like the way we live, I thought having a house and a car and living in the city is normal, but there it's so raw that it's so human in a sense that when I was there, I was volunteering in this village, and they lived like we lived. Like if you listen to books about hunter gatherers and like people were living like if you look at the history book and like people living in communities like 150 people, like exchanging goods without money and being a tight community where there's no individualism. It's just like a tight community living in huts and supporting each other, and everybody has so much purpose. They were living like that, and that I felt like there was so much belonging there, and there was so much purpose. Like the concept of loneliness didn't really exist. There was so much purpose with everybody who lived there, and everybody was living for somebody else. And I was like, wow, these people having so much purpose, and they have nothing that I have in Germany, you know, and they and in some way I was really jealous of them because they just had what I wanted, and I wanted to find a way how I can create this purpose for myself. And then I realized quickly that I don't want to work in a corporate realm, like working. My worst fear became having a purposeless life after I saw that. After I saw how they were living, I was like, the worst thing that can happen to me is having no purpose, living for the money. I was like, if I get to a point where I just work to get money, I'm done. I cannot do that. Like, it was so clear to me that point. I think that's where this community in Ethiopia really cracked me open. And then it kind of lingered in my mind, this whole like freedom thing, and needing to do what I want to do, and needing to create some purpose in my life. So then I was traveling to Kenya, and then I was traveling to Uganda, and it was kind of at the end of my travels where I was like, okay, what now? I now have to go back to Germany, and I have to find a job or do something. Or I had a job which paid me. I had a part-time job. I was working 10, 15 hours a week on it. Paid me like 1,000 euros a month, which was good for Africa. Like, I could live okay. But in Germany, it's a struggle. Like in Germany, I cannot. Like if you earn less than 2,000 here, it's kind of rough, you know. So I cannot afford anything here. So I was like, okay, I need to get a job, or I need to do something for myself, to get some money so I can create the freedom and purpose that I want. I was very big on, I need to find a way where I can keep living the way I live right now, because I felt like I was learning so much when I was traveling. I was learning so, like, traveling opened me up, like cracked me open. It was just a complete reset and I now traveled over 40 countries. So I wanted to keep that going. In order to keep traveling, I needed to make money online. Okay. So keep in mind, I was earning 1,000 USD a month, and I was spending them all like in 1 month. Like, I wasn't really, I had some money left at the end of my travels. And then I was on YouTube and Google, and I was like, how can I make money online? And I was like, I kind of like writing, you know, and I kind of like, and I don't like video and stuff. And I was like, I thought video was so complicated, like doing YouTube. Like, I was so intimidated by the YouTube space and the Instagram space, how much work it goes into it. I was like, but writing I could do. So I was Googling that, and the algorithm showed me like blogging as an option. I was like, that's cool, because I don't need to do social media. Like, I don't need to do social media. I wasn't even on social media. That is a crazy thing. And it wasn't even on, I was despising, I wasn't even liking the whole social media space, because I felt like it was just people bragging about things, right? Then I was doing blogging, and then I saw that's what happened is then I was like, okay, I want to do blogging. And then there was this guy I was listening to on YouTube. I was listening to every video of his on YouTube. And then he had this blogging course, and I really connected to him. So I bought this blogging course, and it was 1,300 USD. And I was earning 1,000 a month, and it was 1,300. I just scratched everything I had. And also 2 months earlier, my laptop got stolen in Kenya, and it was tough because it was a 700 USD laptop. It was hard. Like, if you don't have money and lose something big, it's tough, you know? So I didn't have a laptop, so I needed to buy a laptop as well. So I bought one for 700. So I spent 2,100 in one day, and I was like, okay, that's it. So last month in Uganda, I was working like 12 hours a day on this blogging, putting on my website, doing this blogging thing, and like doing everything I can to make this work, right? Then I went back to Germany to my parents, and then my brother had like a small studio, which like 15 square meters. Like, 200. I think the rent was 200 euros. It was just it was a student apartment, but he wasn't living there, so I could stay there. And I was living in this tight studio, shared bathroom, everything. It was just, and I was just grinding. I was just grinding for 8 to 10 months with this. I was grinding for 8 months basically with trying to make this blogging thing work, and it didn't work out. I didn't make any money with it. I didn't make any money. Like, I was so frustrated, but somehow I had this conviction from my past experience of getting off my comfort zone, and I had this weird naive confidence that I will do it. I can do that. And with that, I found the courage to pivot, where I was like, okay, what can I else do with writing? And then the algorithm showed me Dan Carr, Dakota Robertson, all these like creators who do on X. So I went on X, and on X, that point was called Twitter. So keep in mind, like, when I talk about this, when was this? This was, I went on X December 2023. December 2023 was the first time I went on X. I think my account is January 2024 built. And I had zero money, and I didn't, it was so crazy. Like, I had this naive confidence without money, and it was getting tight because at that point, I didn't even have the job anymore. The job was until September. So from September to January, I was living on 500 euros a month. So imagine 200 euros was rent. 300 euros was just for a month. So I was living on, basically, I calculated it. It was like, I was like living on 1.5 meals. Like, I had 2 meals a day with like eggs or scrambled eggs or chicken breast and bread. And that's basically what I was eating. So I was just, and the funny thing about this is I was not unhappy. And that showed me again, like, when I look at this back at this time, I was so driven. I had so like, I need to make this work no matter what. No matter what, I need to make this work. And that gave me like some purpose. So even though it was such a romantic time for me, it was like, I wasn't dating. I wasn't going out. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't doing anything. I was just going to the gym and doing this online thing. That is it. Well, then on X, everything changed because I finally got myself to go to social media. And once you're on social media, people see you. So I was on social media writing, and then people loved it, you know? And then I can get into like how then from there on, I did so much free work. I was writing free content for people, free. And I wanted to make money with ghostwriting. So then I made free posts for people, paid people to repost the posts I was writing for other people. That means I paid to work, basically. Like, imagine you go to your bank and you have paid them to work there. Like, that's how I did. That's what I did, just to get my name out there, just to get some testimonials, because I didn't have anything. I didn't have any proof, nothing. I was just a 25-year-old, naive, just out of university, kind of hippie-ish, kind of out of the student, like, just living in a studio. And I was talking to these therapists on X, on like these doctors, like PhD and like 20 years experience. And I'm like, I was nobody, you know? And I was just like, okay, I just need to know, because the one thing that blogging did for me, I learned how to write. Like, these 10 months of not making money with blogging, I learned how to write. So then, I wanted to do money with ghostwriting. I also,
real quick,
yes,
because not everyone's going to understand what ghostwriting is.
Yeah.
I know you don't do that anymore, but explain what ghostwriting is. And then real quick, before you do that, I just want to set the timeline for the audience. So basically, Haythem, June 2023, bought his first blogging course for $1,300 plus a laptop. Why he's living in Uganda, why he was only making $1,000 per month, And he basically worked for 8 to 10 months making no money, like trying to figure out the blogging thing before he discovered Twitter/X. And then he started creating content on Twitter/X. Literally not like he started to find like, oh, wait, like I can write for other people, aka ghostwrite. But instead of getting people to pay him to do that, he spent his own money to help promote the writing that he wrote for other people. So he was like literally paying his dues like crazy. So explain exactly what ghostwriting is, and then like move us forward through in your journey, because spoiler alert, like Haythem goes on to grow like crazy on Threads, which is Instagram's version of Twitter/X. Like so fast, it's insane. But like before you got to that explosive growth, what is ghostwriting?
Yeah, ghostwriting. So whenever I say ghostwriting, people think I'm doing it for a musician or something like that. But ghostwriters are everywhere. So ghostwriters, it's a nice business because you can ghostwrite for everybody. And I was ghostwriting for psychologists. So psychologists, they have a business, right? And they want to get clients online. And then they need somebody who grows their Twitter for them. So to get an online presence, basically. And they often don't have time because they're busy people to write themselves and grow it themselves. So I tell them, hey, listen, I'm going to take over all your account, and I'm going to write all your content for you. You just give me your life story, you give me your notes, you give me your books, you give me everything you are and as a person, and I'm going to make posts out of them, and you're going to look over them, I'm going to post them. So my goal is to basically at the end get them clients. So basically my goal is, as a ghostwriter, to get more attention, to get them more followers, and then at the end goal they want from me is to get clients. That's why it's so lucrative, because if you're a good ghostwriter and you get a psychologist 3 to 5 clients, you can charge thousands of dollars a month. Because if you make somebody, if I can make somebody 5 to 10K a month, I can charge 3 to 4.
Yeah.
So people were happy to pay that. So I'm not going to pay. That's the thing. You don't want to be paid per word. You want to be paid per outcome. So that's what and all that. There's a big part of the story I forgot. How did I come to ghostwriting? When I was in January living with no money, I was like, okay, getting guidance from a course wasn't it. I was like, I need some guidance here. I need some guidance. But I was looking at my bank account, it wasn't looking good. So I was like, okay, I need to pay a mentor. So when I was a student, I bought like a hand pen. I would like this, I don't know if you know these hippie kind of, it's an instrument. I was playing it and it was really valuable. I think it was 650 euros. So, and my mentor was 750 USD. The mentor I wanted to have as a mentor, right? Because I connected with him and I really liked. So 1 month was 750. So I decided to sell the last valuable thing I had. I literally didn't have. I was wearing the same clothes for a month, for a year, for maybe 1.5 years. I didn't even change my clothes when I came back from Africa. I didn't own anything. I was looking at my space, like, can I sell? So I sold this handpan for 650, paid him, and worked for a month. And I was like, okay, listen, I have 30 days. I need to get some payments in so I can pay you for the next month. So that was the goal in 30 days. And he was like, listen, do ghostwriting. And he basically told me, like, if you know how to write, so if you can do that. And I basically then followed the path of like him mentoring with me with offer creation, the free work stuff. And then I was like, okay, let me up it a bit and just like pay people to repost the post I'm writing. And then basically then in the first month I did 750. So then that was crazy because I could just pay him right away. So I invested money right away into him. The second month I did 750. We invested him again. So now we are in January. I got no end of January. I got him.
This is 2024, right?
2024. January, like 1.5 years ago. So like January 2024. I went on Twitter. February, I got him as a mentor. March 2024, I made 750, and then on February I made 750, and March I did 750, and then I did so much free work at that point. Like I worked for. Can you like I reached out to so many psychologists, so many people in my space. I wrote so many posts for people. I had so many testimonials. I had already 2 clients, like very underpaid. Like I was 750. I did so much for them, and so what I owned was actually like my hourly rate would have been like $2, $3. But my goal was to get like testimonials and like a case study. And then in April, people started reaching out to me where they were like, hey, I heard you're doing this thing and you wrote this thread for this guy and he told me that you can do this also for me. And then people would reach out to me, like business owners who make 80K a month. I was like, that is, I mean, there was business owners who made 80K. There was somebody who has like a huge like hydration brand reach out to me because he knew somebody I was working with. And all of a sudden I was in the game. And then there was this 16th of April, 2024. There was this day where I had 3 people who booked a call for the same day for an onboarding call for me to get an offer. I was working with my mentor to get the offers right and to tell him how can I charge, how much can I charge. So it wasn't all me, but then I went on these calls all on the same day. It was a Wednesday. I can remember, like, it was crazy. Meanwhile, I was living in this like 15 square meters apartment, like studio, not even, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like that, it was so basic. My fridge was empty. Only eggs and tomatoes was in my fridge. Some tuna cans. If I want to mix it up, like honestly, some tuna cans. So, and it's just, I was living there and I had these calls with these business owners in this small studio, and everybody booked the call on the same day. So I had like one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. And then I closed the first client, like it was 2.5K. Then 2.5K for a month, right? I closed the second client, which was then 3K, right? So now we had like 5.5K. So at that point I was already, what is going on? Like at that point I was, what's going on? Like this is crazy. Then the third client, I was like 3.5K, and then I had like another client who was also paid me on the same day. So people paid on the same day. So at the end I made 10K, almost 10K in one day on the 16th of April 2024. And I couldn't, like after the interview, like after the last call was like 9 p.m. I just came home from the gym and I had this call at 9 p.m. I'm sitting there, I had the last call with him. And then I was like already so stoked because other people paid. And then the last guy pays, and 4 people paid me on the same day, and I almost made 10K. I couldn't believe it. Like it was the moment for me where it was like, and like that was for me, anything is possible. And I after the call, I ended the call and I switched off my computer and I just stood up. I got stood up from my chair. I was just like I was really like staying like this for like a minute. I couldn't fathom it. I was calling my friend and I was so overexcited I couldn't speak. And my words didn't come out. It meant so much to me. Like it was so crazy to me. Like because my family, I grew up, like we didn't grow up, like we grew up really like middle class, right? Like my dad made like 3K a month, maybe like 3.5. All of a sudden I make 10K one day. I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy talk. Like like this is possible, and then next day I just invited everybody for I bought a watch. I bought out live. I bought a watch for 400 euros. I invite everybody uh for lunch and dinner and everything. And I was like, I cannot. And I bought clothes, and this was so crazy. This journey, because it showed me that this 10 months of not earning any money, my decision in Uganda to buy this was totally right, because now I got it. Now I was like, all right, now I can build on that. I have a name now. People know me now, so and people pay me money. So yeah, that's a long story, but yeah, that's how I went there, that's what happened. Yeah.
I love it. And you were on April 16th, 2024. You were 26 years old, correct?
Yeah, I just turned 26. My birthday is end of March, so I just turned 26. Yeah.
Okay. And now you're 27. So we're recording this in June 2025. So
Yeah.
Heythem's journey, not only incredible, but very recent. This has all taken place in the last 2 years of his life. So one of the reasons, I'm so passionate about sharing Heythem's journey is longtime listeners to the show know I'm incredibly passionate about spreading the message of financial freedom to
Mm.
people. And, I achieved my financial freedom through working a 9 to 5 and taking that income and investing it in the stock market and turning that into an income producing asset through index funds. But what I love about Haythem's journey to financial freedom is the fact that he did it in 2 years, which is way less time than it's going to take most people to work a 9 to 5 and invest their way to financial freedom. So for most people, if you work a 9 to 5 and take that money and put it into the stock market, provided you do it right, it's a pretty surefire path, but it's a 10 to 15 year journey. And really, like, I believe what most people want isn't necessarily financial freedom, but freedom to live a life of their own design, a life that they actually love, doing work that inspires them, working in ways that work well for them, living a lifestyle that they love, and really, owning their time, having autonomy, and all of that. And I just think Haythem's story is so incredible because he did this at 26 and he bet on himself. Like he literally was, living on $1,000 a month and invested everything he could into courses and mentorship, literally to the point where he had to sell one of his most beloved items, a handpan, which is it's just such a cool story. So you did 10K basically in a single month, which is wild. After being like dead broke for a very long time. I don't know what 15 meters is in feet, because like in the US we think in feet.
Yeah.
But it sounds very, very small. He had eggs and a little bit of tuna in his fridge.
Yeah.
And, he's literally doing work for free to get his name out there and, going after this for 10 months strong. And it's almost as if the universe saw his intention and his effort. And the fact that he didn't give up finally said, okay, here you go. April 16th, 2024. This is your reward for sticking with it and putting in the work and not giving up. So incredible journey, dude. I'm getting goosebumps just like recounting like what you did. But I know this isn't the end of the journey.
Yeah.
And you got obsessed with like making money online
Yeah.
and lost some of your freedom.
Yeah.
So, I want to go there, but before I go there, I want you to share a little bit about how you went from blogging to writing on X and Threads. So like how that started the engine for what would later become your business that could do 10K in one day.
So how I got there? How I go into on social media then?
Yeah, so you went from blogging,
Right. Yeah.
making zero money,
Yeah.
and then you avoided social media because you didn't want to like ruin your brain. And then you started writing on X / Twitter in January of 2024.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you also started writing on Threads. So
Yeah.
what made you do that? Was it your mentor? Like, how did you like go from like, okay, this blogging thing isn't working, I'm going to go start writing on these, what I like to call micro writing platforms?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was my mentor. It was me. It was the algorithm again. It was me Googling for other things than blogging. I was like, what are alternatives to blogging? What can I else do? It's not working. There come a point where I was still blogging, and at same and in January I was still trying to blog somehow, but I couldn't. But I found Danko. I found these guys who are already making money with writing online, and there was some people who already were ghostwriters, and I was like, ghostwriting, that's crazy. So that you can do that, and they were telling about how much money you can make, and then basically they were saying there were people who were saying like, if you're writing and you're not on social media, then then you're missing out. Basically, they were also again, I listened to many people, and they were like, you're missing out. Blogging is kind of that you're battling with this SEO algorithm. I mean, I know that some people are making money on it, but you're basically posting in the void. And I love this idea of my and getting recognition, but also feedback on my posts, because on social media it's immediate. You get people who liking it, commenting on it, like or just hate as well. You get a lot of things on social media. It's a wild place to be, to share yourself. So I kind of fell in love with the idea, and I was like, okay, so um, I need to get over the hump. Also, X and Threads were platforms haven't had. So Instagram was a platform I didn't want to go on, because I always thought it's like very pretentious. But X, I didn't have any. I was never on X, you know. So for me, it was like a fresh start, a fresh platform, and it's a writing platform. You only write. I don't have to do video. I don't have to do that. I can, because it's also another thing. I wanted to travel, and I wanted to just have the dream of like having a $700 laptop and just traveling everywhere and just working from this. The only thing I own. Like I'm still traveling with 12 kg. So I don't know how much pounds it is, but like maybe like 30 pounds, 25 pounds backpack with a laptop inside, and that's all I do. And I love that. So I wanted to have this as light as possible. That's why I was like, okay, I think it's time to go on social media. So X was it for me then. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what advice would you give to somebody who's an aspiring writer, like someone who wants to, begin the journey to eventually monetizing their own writing?
Right. That's a good question. And I feel like some people go too early to the monetizing. I'm going to come to it also, because I monetized too early. I put myself in the pressure of like, I need to make money. So I was monetizing with ghostwriting. We're going to come to it, but like ghostwriting wasn't the thing I wanted to do then anymore. Right. So it kind of burned me out. So when you are an aspiring writer and you come into this online space, and you want to first try to build an audience and a personal brand, right? You wanna, and then if you know your servers already and you know what you wanna offer, that's cool. But if you don't worry about it. You just create a profile, set up your bio, and then start writing. And when it comes to writing, I always say like the best writers are the most self-aware, because in order to write authentic content, in order to stand out from other people, especially now in the AI days, it's also a question I always get, like, how do you manage AI? I'm like, all right, if everybody writes AI and I'm the one who's not, they're gonna sound generic. I'm not. Of course, I'm using AI, but if you're an aspiring writer, you want to talk as much about your transformations as possible, about who you are as a person, about your beliefs, about controversy, about because if you are authentic to who you are by nature a bit controversial. We censor ourselves. We are brought up to censor our true beliefs, to fit society's norms, and Germany, for example, has a very strong norms where the judgment is very immediate. Arab culture as well. So I grew up with that, with this judging kind of way of living. And then, but as a writer, you have to share your truth. You have to share what you truly believe in, even if it's controversial. And you have to get to know yourself. That's why when people come to me and they want to be a writer, the first thing I make them do is to journal about their life. Like I give them questions like, I want you to get to know yourself, because the more you get to know yourself, the better your writing gets, you know?
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know you know this, but some of the listeners, some of the audience is going to be unaware of the ability to make money online through writing.
Yeah.
So like just kind of like someone, you know, listening to this, they've never heard of someone like writing on Threads and writing on X and like making a living, making 10K in one day.
Yeah.
Like pretend I'm that person. Like, how would you explain this like online business to me? Because it's so new, and you and I are in this echo chamber, and we know
Mm.
lots of people who do 10K, 20K, 50K, 100K a
Yeah.
month, like writing online. But
Mhm.
like, help me like kind of explain to the audience like the different ways, like someone who's passionate about writing and someone who is authentically expressing, sharing their beliefs, being controversial by nature because they're like self-aware and they know themselves. Like, how does somebody like actually make a living writing online?
There are definitely many ways to do that, and I have to explain this so many times because my friends and people I meet, nobody understands. Like you have to understand, like I didn't have any reference to somebody in my life who did that. Like I didn't have anybody in my life, my immediate circle. I didn't know anybody. My mentor I met on X. Like it was like, some guy online I who mentored me. But my some people who know me really well don't understand still. They're like, what? How do you actually make money? Like people are actually paying you? Like why? How do people pay you? But you can make money by offering a service that helps people. What do people want people help with? People want to either um, get time saved. That's why I was a ghostwriter. I save them time and make them more money, you know? So people want time saved, make more money with less effort, you know? Um, this is when it comes to a writer. So if, for example, for me, I'm a writing mentor. So I teach people how to write online. Okay. So I teach people how to go on audience, how to write authentically. So, and build a brand around you, who you are as a person. Right. And, the more and so the more you can then do that, and then and people pay me because I save them everything that I learned. Like I learned this over 2 years, but I'm giving them everything in like 1 to 3 months, right? So I save them time. I grow their following, which gives them more attention. Ultimately, get them clients. So they invest in me, but I'm giving them a business. Like I'm giving them a full on business online. I teach them exactly how to do, exactly how to write, exactly exactly what tactics to use, what offer, how to do, how to create an offer, and how to do that, how to create a full funnel to create an offer. You can do that. If you see online, there are a lot of life coaches, there are a lot of psychologists, there are doctors now coming into the game. There are like fitness coaches. There's so many people who are making money by posting online, and these people come to me and like, hey, I want to build this with writing, and that's what I help people with. And so people pay me because not because just because it's not because it's me, it's because I'm helping them, right? I'm helping them to establish a business, and if as long as you can give people what they want, you can charge for it, and you have a business. So that's how you make money with writing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to share with the audience how I discovered Haythem, in on June 8th,
Hmm.
1 year and 1 day ago, I decided to start writing on Threads every single day. I'd gotten on it a few months before.
Mm.
And I have a decent Instagram follower account. So like I started my Threads account, immediately had like 1,800 followers. But I recognized in myself that though I love, Instagram as a platform, there's times in my life where I don't feel like creating visual content,
Mm.
videos, pictures, etc. But and like I just need to take a break from that. But I still want to create, and I've always loved writing, and so I was like, okay, I'm going to commit to 1 year of posting every single day on Threads and just see
Mm.
what I can do. So yesterday was like my 1 year, 365 days in a row. And I started at 1,800. And I'm now at 18,400 ish.
That's
So I
incredible.
basically grew 17,000 followers. And here's the kicker with me: 99% of the time, I only posted once per day.
Mm.
Not 2, not 3, not 4 times. But one of the things I did on my journey is, one, I discovered Haythem.
Mm.
2, I purchased his course, and I became a part of his engagement group.
Mm-hmm.
And his course was amazing. And it taught me how to write on Threads in a way that would not only like create engaging content, but like help me grow really fast. And Heythem has people that are, his writing clients, course clients, etc., that grew 10 times faster than me. Like I've seen people that he's worked with like gain 20,000 followers in like a month or two. And like no shady shit, no like paying for followers, literally just creating super engaging content. And writing is a skill. Learning to write in a persuasive, engaging way that gets people to stop scrolling, read and like and follow and comment is a skill. And Heythem has really mastered it. And Heythem, I watched Heythem, like I think when I discovered you,
Mm.
6-8 months ago,
Yeah.
you had maybe 20-ish thousand followers, and
Yeah.
now you have 46,000 followers.
Yeah.
And I literally, I've watched 2 people in our engagement group who were behind me.
Mm-hmm.
They like, I watched one person, I won't say her name because she I don't know if she wants me to say it or not. But she had like 3,000 followers, and she went from 3,000 followers to like, she's now at 25,000 followers, and she
Wow.
just like totally passed me. And then I watched 2 other people in the group do the same thing, have less followers than me, and now they're more than me, but they're taking Haythem's mentorship,
Yeah.
and they're posting, 2 to 4 times a day instead of 1. So
Yeah.
I love Threads. I think it's an incredible new
Mm.
platform that's, really fun to grow on. And, if you don't know anything about kind of the creator economy, one of the things I do want to call out, because some people talk about it, but most people don't, is like one of the keys to growing online is growing together in like an engagement
Yeah.
group, getting like growing with other people who are growing online. And so like, in our engagement group, like, we all share each other's posts, we all comment on each other's posts, and we help like share each other's work, because we're all after the same thing, which is creating a business online around our interests and passions and helping other people along the way. And it's a very beautiful, noble pursuit when done the right way. Now,
Yeah.
you can take it the too much to the extreme and chase bigger and bigger numbers. Like, okay, I did 10K a month. Now I want to do 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 or 100K. And then you start to sacrifice your own freedom, your own life for that. And I know you did that. So Haythem, walk us through how you had this incredible, like, oh, I did 10K, and then you got obsessed with taking it to the next level and you started to present your business. Walk us through that part of your journey.
Yeah, I mean, yes. In April, so let's go back to April. I made my first 10K, and now I had 4 clients. So there's another thing. Now I have to deliver, right? So I had to deliver on posts, on ghostwriting posts, right? For 4 clients, which was a lot. But I was so obsessed with making this work that I wasn't really living. I was making a lot of money, but I was working like 14-hour work days. I had like from April to basically August, September, I was working the whole time. I wasn't taking any day off. Like I wasn't taking a day off. And people romanticize that a lot, right? And I get that.
Hustle culture.
Hustle culture. People romanticize that. And I get that if you have purpose behind it. But the issue with me was I wasn't passionate about ghostwriting. And it took me a while to recognize that, because ghostwriting was for me a way to make money, because I knew I could make money with it, because this is the easiest service to offer if you can write well. And I learned through blogging that I am a good writer, and people loved my initial 3 posts I wrote for them. So then I kind of got stuck in this like service that I'm offering, and people started reaching out more, and I'm like, all right, I'm a ghostwriter now, I guess. Like people want this service, but I didn't want to do this service because I was writing. Felt so empty to write for other people, and I wanted to write for myself. Meanwhile, my audience was at 500 on Twitter, and I grew people's by the thousands. And my audience was stuck. I was like, if I would write for myself, I could grow my own brand. Like that's why the other vision came. I was like, why am I growing other people's brand? I can build me as a person. Like I need to build who am I? Like I need to put myself out there. So then, meanwhile, so I went on Threads on January 2, but I was also only cross posting I was posting the same thing I was posting on X on Threads, but Threads blew up. All of a sudden, like I had more followers on Threads than on X. And I was like, damn, it's a good platform to be on. And then people from X started asking me how I'm doing it on Threads. And I'm like, I don't really know. And then I was like, okay, I'm actually having a way of doing it. And then I started slowly mentoring people how to do it on. So slowly shifted to the mentoring role where I show people how to grow on Threads. And it kind of came to me. But there was a point in September, like beginning of September, where I didn't want to do the ghostwriting. I just went back to my parents' place, and I was very agitated, and I couldn't agitated. Had short temper. I was just annoyed with everything. And I didn't want it to work. And I felt like that was the first time. So when people, so in the come up, when it was 10 months, no money, people tell me, I'm courageous, whatever, but it's not true. There was no, like people say like, oh, you didn't give up, but like, this wasn't even a question. It came to the point. Sometimes there comes something in your life where you realize that there is just no other way. There is just no other way than doing this. There is no alternative to this. And then I wasn't even a question. I was working every day with purpose, and I was happy. Then I was making this money, but I was very burned out and unhappy. And it took me a while to recognize that. And then I finally did. And I didn't, and it came because I was telling my best friend, I was like, hey man, I need to go on a trip. I need to go to the forest, for like a weekend or something, switch my phone off. I was really addicted to my phone, addicted to the screen time of 10, 12 hours a day. I was addicted to my screen time. I was very agitated, didn't want to do anything. Then we went to the forest, and then we we went and we went to the forest in Netherlands. Netherlands, you can buy mushrooms. It's legal, right? So like legal mushrooms. So like we went to the forest in this cabin. We went to the shop and we basically took the strongest mushrooms there inside the shop. We went there and I took the mushrooms and there was another, it cracked me open again. It was my third open, like crack where the mushroom was like anything, like the trip was telling me that everything you're doing is a distraction. Distraction for what you really want to do, distraction from being with yourself, and distraction from your purpose. You're not free and you don't have purpose. That's exactly what you didn't want. And you put yourself in the spot. You did this. You put yourself in the spot where you don't have purpose, don't have freedom. I need to get out of there. So I came back and I was like, okay, no, I cannot keep doing that. I need to change something up. So then I stopped ghostwriting. I ghostwrited less, but also what I did was, at that point I also realized the mentoring makes so much fun. Like I was building the engagement group you're in right now. I was building the course. I was building I had a lot of mentoring clients. I was like, this is so much fun because I work one-on-one with them and they actually respect me. As a ghostwriter, people like, sometimes they didn't want to go on calls with me. They were like, just get this done. Like I'm like, they're kind of like their handler. It was a very weird relationship. With them, they wanted to actually learn from me. And I'm like, wow, like I have authority. People actually respecting what I'm doing. And I like the mentoring part. But the big thing was I fixed my routine. I fixed how I work. So I stopped working all day and I basically crammed. I'm a morning person. So I wake up 6, 7, I would just like work in the morning. And then I'm off after 2, 3 p.m. I'm not working anymore. And I do this to this day where I'm not working afterwards, So I took some purpose out of my free time. I'm also doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I was going to the gym more often doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I was meeting with friends. I was starting dating again. It was also nice. It's, get some, go party, go do something, go do something fun. Just experience, live life, like live the life, live like the freedom you wanted. Now you should have it. Like you should really have it. So that means I was earning less then. So then I realized that my journey is not about earning the most amount of possible. Is to I'm working to be free, and to be free means to obviously work do what you like. So what I'm doing now, I really like. I really love my routine where I write in the morning, then I have client calls, and then I have community calls. I have a community now of 30 people where we help each other grow as a writer, right? And that fills me with purpose because I have people who I can teach, right? And I have my one-on-one clients I can teach. And I became kind of like this teacher role, which I really loved going into. And then I picked up, like I'm focusing more on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I'm focusing more on going out and traveling again and stuff. So I really found a way where it works for me, where I love. Now when I wake up, it's a different feeling. I wake up and I would nothing rather do than work, And after 2 p.m., I would nothing rather do than stop working. Like I just it's so natural nowadays. Like I'm just stop working, then I do my stuff, and it's a big cut. It's like a cut now. Like okay, now I'm cut. I don't work anymore. Now I'm gonna go out, and I'm not gonna be on my screen, and I'm gonna try to live life, And so now it's much healthier, and I created the freedom, which led to me being able to travel. I just came back from 6 months traveling through East Africa again. So I was in Ethiopia again. I was in Kenya again. And I was traveling and working, and now I'm back at my parents' place, and that gives me the freedom now I have the freedom to eat like random breakfast with my mom at 11 a.m. I can go to the gym with my friend at 1 p.m. I can take people to lunch at like any time. I can I can do whatever, I can work however I want, whenever I want. So that is the freedom I really wanted to have at the beginning, which I didn't do because I was too focused on making money, you know. So my business now is focused on giving as much value as you can. So when people work with me, I try to give it all away. Like I try to really, I don't want to gatekeep information. I want to just give it all away. Even when people come for free, I just want to say, I also want to give it everything I have, but then research, and then I can just enjoy the freedom I've built, you know, because if I don't do that, what else is this for, you know? What else is this for? I need to do this, and I'm making less than before, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of my favorite concepts is a yogic principle called moksha,
Yeah.
and it means freedom through constraint,
Mm.
which seems paradoxical because like how does being constrained make you more free? But what you did is you said, I'm going to constrain my work to in the morning I write, then I do client
Mm-hmm.
calls, then I do community calls, and then I stop working at 2 and I go work on the rest of my life. So you've created these a container for
Exactly.
work, and it's constrained. So like 2:00, you're done working. I'm gonna go play. I'm gonna go do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, work out with my friend, listen to the birds chirp, as you say on Threads so often.
Exactly.
And it's
Yeah.
so beautiful
Yeah.
because you're so happy because you've created constraints around your work that gives you more freedom in your life.
Exactly. Exactly. And I enjoy both parts, you know?
Yeah.
I enjoy work more because it's not all day and it's like something actually I want to write about and actually people I care about, and some of my clients became my friends, and the community is just
Yeah.
like, imagine like you go on a call and like there are people on a call, like we have a group call and they're asking me questions and they want to have advice from me. That is still boggling my mind because 2 years ago I didn't know anything, and now people are asking me how I did it. And and I did this with nothing, no money, no experience, I had nothing. I was living in as we said, like not much money, and then this gives me purpose because I really care about them, and that is amazing when you can when you're in this spot where you can help people, and afterwards it's just really selfish where it's like I want to do the stuff I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to train. I want to hang out with my parents. I want to see my friends. I want to travel. I want to date. I want to do stuff. I want to live life. So, um, I kind of built the routine around it. Of course, I'm still early in business, and there's still some stuff I need to learn. But the freedom part is so incredible. It's so incredible, and I cannot imagine me going back to a 9 to 5. Really, like I cannot. It's just yeah.
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 So before we move on to a couple other topics I want to cover before I wrap this up, I want to give a couple tangible takeaways because you are an expert at writing online and growing an audience, especially on Threads. So, what is like one or two strategies that either you've used or you encourage your mentoring clients to use to grow on Threads?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, um, when you share something, like a lot of people who share online, they want to preach. They're like, here are 5 meditation techniques you should know. This is not gonna work. Like if you post it like that, you have to have some credibility or authority before that. You say like, I have spent 50 days in silence in a meditation retreat. Here are 5 meditation techniques that actually work. You see how I put like the credibility before that, the authority before that? So for example, I study psychology, so I do this as a credibility point. I've grown 45,000 followers on Threads, so this is my credibility point. I've traveled 40 countries, this is my credibility point. I was overweight is a credibility because the transformational pose is always amazing to do. you know, and also battling depression, anything you did. So people always come to me like, I don't have credibility. No, you have, because you have done things you have done in your life, um, are very unique. And the more you get to know yourself, the more you realize how there are stuff in your life that you did that nobody else has done. Um, you know, even like if you have worked 15 years in corporate, I worked 20 years in corporate, and I here 11 brutal truths about corporate life you need to know. Went viral for many people on
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
You know who. So like, it's or
We'll
like,
shout her out. Claudia, if you're listening to this, we're talking about you. You were the person I mentioned before that passed me up. So Claudia and I are good friends as well. But yeah, I mean, she's one of your mentoring clients, and she has blown up so fast. Like,
yeah.
it's crazy. So I love that. Using, some piece of credibility or authority
Mm,
before you teach. So it's like, for
exactly.
me, I always say, like, I do this all the time. Like, I used to be $80,000 in debt. Now
Mm-hmm.
I'm, have a net worth of 3 million plus.
Mm.
Here's 9 lessons on money and wealth, blah, 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 blah. So it's like everyone has a transformation story. Like you said, like whether, they lost weight, they studied psychology, they worked in corporate for 15, 20 years. Like,
Mm.
what is the tangible, like, credibility, authority that you can share before you go into the, like, here's the tips or the tools or the strategies or the teaching.
Yeah, exactly. And doesn't mean that you did something. There are also people who went viral with saying, I'm depressed, here's how I'm going to go, here's how I'm getting through my day.
100%.
You know, there is something about your life. Some guys, he's Sri Lankan, moved to UK and then went back to Sri Lanka and then talked about this, went viral. There's I there's a girl who came to me. She's like, I'm 22, um, and I don't know. I'm regular. I just went to uni. I didn't do anything. I went to no. I think she went to corporate for 6 years. Didn't like it. So she was from 16 to 22. Didn't like it. She's like, I'm 22. I worked in corporate for 6 years, and I hated it. Here's what you need to know. She went viral, and she thought she doesn't have anything. She doesn't have any. Like, this is another person. She also talked about, this is not Claudia. This is another person, and she went viral as well. So I've seen the virality go for everybody, as long as you share your experience with things, you know, and you share your experience. It's trust. It builds trust. It builds credibility. It builds authority. It builds somebody. People want to listen to people who have actually done things or have not done things. You know, I wasted my entire 20s. Is a great entry. If you
Yeah.
feel like you wasted your entire 20s, a friend of mine, he got fit. He got a six pack in his 30s in the first time of his life. I'm like, dude, you have to post about this, you know, because people think they cannot get fit in their 30s, 40s, you know.
Yeah.
So there's so many things you can talk about, and that's what I mean. Anybody can be a writer. Anybody can
Yeah.
be a writer. No matter how dull you think that your life is, it's not. It's really
Yeah.
not. And that's what my job is. Like, it's for kind of funny because I studied psychology, and now I can like combine it with like ta making people aware of who they are, you know, if you're writing. It's so amazing to me. It's like, you have done this. Like, sometimes I get so excited about things because I tell people to give me the story, and I'm like, dude, you have to write about this. Like, this is crazy. Like, you have to write about these topics because these are you. So I make people aware of their of what who they are and what their experiences. So if you want to be a good writer, share your truth, be authentic, share your authority, credibility, even if it's negative, and and be don't try to conform to the norm. You know, don't try to say things just because people like them. Honesty is a big thing. Honesty is harder than we think. To be truly honest, we need to be self-aware. If we're not self-aware, we cannot be honest. You know, so the first step to honesty is to gain the awareness of ourselves, that who we are as a person, who what we are and what we want to do, and then the second part is to share that then. and then you're gonna be a great writer. I've guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Provided you put in a fuck ton of action of writing. Like, you can't become a great writer without writing a lot.
Yeah.
In preparation for this interview, I listened to 2 of your other interviews. And I love how you said in one of them, admitting that you were like your writing was bad as fast as possible. Like, oh, what I just wrote, okay, this is terrible. Now I need to make it better. Like,
Yeah.
I love that you're so honest about that, is because like the only way to get better is to like, try it, suck, and then realize that you suck and try again.
And the funny thing is, I still suck. The funny thing is that I have people who proofread my content. So
Yeah.
it's like I need to check on me as well. Like I of course, like now I have like things like I'm much, much faster. I know what works and what doesn't. But like there are things that people point out in my writing. I'm like, I have never seen that. And I get so excited about these things because they make me a better writer. And it's a continuous path where I get, if I look at the writing I'm writing now and like 6 months ago or 8 months ago, 9 months ago, I see the improvements. And I'm so excited. Like if I look at my writing 1 year from now, I'm like, wow, like it's really a constant involvement in things, and you need to put in the reps. You need to put it. It's also about honesty. Be honest that you're not good. You're not a good writer. If you're just starting out, you're not good at writing. You're not a good writer. So people actually sometimes send me their posts in a Google Doc, and it's just like all erased. It's like comments everywhere, and it's so nice to see, because after 3 months of working with me, my comments get less. Like the first draft they send me is just, it's all wrong, and then after 3 months, it's 80% less, and it's so amazing to see. It's like you have somebody who checks, who keeps you in check, and that's how you grow as a writer. You want to have somebody who points out the things, or you want to point it out to yourself. The way I point it out to myself is there are simple things you can do, like just by reading stuff out loud and cutting 20% of your writing every time you write, your writing is going to improve dramatically. Like 20% of writing, cutting 20% of your content is so valuable. You just cut 20% and you focus on making things that, so you want to cut, like if you look at each sentence, and then when a sentence makes the same sense after cutting, then cut it, right? There are some words we can leave out, and a sentence would make the same sense as before, right? And just by doing this, you're going to get a better writer. And that's what I teach. I mean, there are many rules like that, but there are some certain rules you have to apply, and then rehearse, write, edit, flop, write. Like the amount of, like, you're going to flop, and you're going to write for 2 hours only to find out that your post got 0 likes. That happens. That's okay.
Yep.
It's a humbling experience, but something everybody goes through as a writer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 things I want to point out for the audience. One is the fact that the creator economy is already estimated to be $250 to $300 billion industry globally in 2025. And it's expected to surpass 500 billion sometime in 2027 to 2030. And it's still so small because, there's 8 billion people, 8 billion people in the world, but only 4 to 6 million people are making a full-time living being an online creator.
That's great.
So,
wow.
If you have any dream of building a business online, even if you hate being on video, don't want to do pictures, but you love to write or want to write, you can, choose a platform like Threads And this is the second piece that I want to point out. Threads, Instagram, Meta's Threads is a brand new platform, and it is always easier to grow on a new platform versus a very mature platform. Like, it is much harder to grow on Instagram. It is much harder to grow on Twitter/X. And if you're listening to this and you want to start writing about the things that you're interested in and see if you can build a business around your interest writing, Threads is an incredible platform for you. And Heythem is potentially an incredible mentor for you. Are you still offering your course as well, or are you only taking on mentoring clients and have shut your course down?
Only mentoring clients, but I have a community where they can also, so it's mentoring community. The course, I made it 20-30% less, and it's for free. So you can just get it. If you go on my website, you can just get it for free.
So I got lucky buying it when it first came out.
Well, yeah.
So I got the full thing.
You got the full thing.
And yeah, it was an amazing course too. I got to tell you, I think you have a future in creating more courses in the future, but I understand that you're really passionate about having a community and working with one-on-one clients in a mentorship capacity. So I absolutely love that. Awesome. So bit of a interesting segue. I want to talk a little bit about books that have changed your life, because I think one of the reasons you're such a great writer is because you're so passionate about reading. And I'm just curious, are there any books that have had like a big impact on either your writing journey or your online journey or your life journey that you think would be valuable to share with the audience?
Yeah, there are a couple of things that had a big impact. And when it comes to my self-development and trying out new stuff, it was less a book, but it was more like a school of people, young guys, called Yes Theory on YouTube, and they were doing the seek discomfort challenges. They were just putting themselves into uncomfortable situations on purpose. And I was so inspired by that I was doing it the whole time. And I think that was a big reason why I do what I do right now. Because in my entire 20s now, for the last 7 years, I did traveling to 40 countries, running marathons without training, just talking, holding up a sign on the street saying, like, talk to me. Like, I was just doing stuff just to get, like, out of my poetry slams. I was just, like, doing stuff. That was a big, big influence. When it comes to books, what really cracked me open is books I read about spirituality. Because I grew up, Germany is kind of goes away from religion. Arabs, I grew up Muslim, so it's kind of it was kind of like this clash, and I couldn't really. I was kind of going away from religion, which was weird. Like, I was going away from religion. I didn't even know. Wasn't even trying to. I was avoiding it. But then I was reading. So there's a couple of books. There's Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer is one of my all-time greats. He just showed me how much your life can change by saying yes to life, by trusting life and having faith that life does, like, knows what it's doing, and it requires a deep trust you have in a invisible force, and that really helped me with anxiety and stuff like that. So that was the first book. Then the second book was Ram Dass, Polishing the Mirror, and Ram Dass kind of became kind of my guru right now. Like, he is such a good business mentor, like, and had nothing to do with business, because his whole thing is, like, how open can you be towards people? How open can you be towards life? How open can you be in regular, like, how open can you be with business? Like, how how much can I give, basically? How much can I serve people, you know? And my whole thing is about trying not to get distorted by the money, because it's what happened to me before, and now to try to give it all away. That's why I don't try to gatekeep information anymore. That's why I made my course for free, because I didn't want to sell the information. I wanted to sell the implementation. Like, people can, everything I write online, everything I write in the course, everything my newsletter I share, everything, every lesson I ever had, I share, you know. But I know that implementation is hard without a mentor, so that's why I'm doing it, you know, because I needed a mentor myself for 5 months to get it. But he kind of taught me that you 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 want to give. He had this like mantra of like love, serve, remember, meaning love everybody in the sense of like love the inherent innocence in people, you know, kind of believing the goodness in people, which really resonates with me, because I could never really resonate with the fact that people are evil. I thought evilness is sometimes just, it's often just ignorance. So I really resonate with that point. Serve means like, that's what I want to do with my business. Serve people, you know, like this is basically this is why we should have a business. If you don't have a business to serve people, that doesn't make any sense then, right? It's there to improve people's lives in the essence. Um, so does your business improve your life is a good question I need to ask myself all the time, you know? And then remember means that remind yourself that um, life is magical, and that there's a force that is combining us all, that is above all the drama and the humanness of us, and the suffering and everything. There's this one source that is that is true, and it's nature, it's consciousness, it's soul, whatever you want to call it. But it's this invisible force that has my back, that takes care of me. And this even goes beyond death, you know, like, and actually, like, this, he brought me back to religion, in the sense of like, he brought me back to, I wouldn't say like when I say religion, I'm not saying that I'm Muslim or whatever. I grew up Muslim, but I love all religions. So my one big thing, I go pray in churches. I go visit synagogues. I go on Muslim pilgrims. Meditate with the monks. I went everywhere, and I was like, damn, we're doing all the same. We're doing all the same, and we're all connected. Like, that's what taught me. But sometimes religions are very, they differentiate a lot. But what I saw is like a lot of unity, and Ram Dass kind of showed me that it's okay to use the word God, and I love now to use the word God, you know. And it's not in the traditional sense of like there's a person in the sky. I like to use God as, it's just this force that loves me, and and knows what is right for me, and puts things into place. And sometimes the things I want are not the things I need, and life always knows what I need, even if it's suffering. Because at the end of the day, if I look back at my life, I mean, my short life, it's like I have the worst moments of my life, like the breakup, um, and like being overweight, and this not belonging and stuff. These are the things that transform me the most. Like, this was kind of a gift of life. Like, really, life gave me this hard moments to grow. It's incredible to look at this from like now at the lowest points of my life, and look at them and see like I would have never grown in the way I grew without these experiences. So at the moment it sucked, like it was bad, but life did this out of love. And that's how I like to talk about God. That's what I mean when I say God. God is dead. So I feel like polishing the mirror from Ram Dass just changed so much of my thinking, you know? Yeah.
Beautiful. We'll put links to both those books, Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer and Polishing the Mirror by Ram Dass. We'll
Yeah.
put links in there. Also, I'll add one because it's in line with it. Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Life-changing book. I need to reread it. It's been a couple years since I read it. So friendly reminder that I should read the rest of Michael Singer's work and reread The Untethered Soul. And also big fan of Ram Dass, but have not read that book. So I will be adding it to my reading list.
Amazing.
I really loved how you talked about spirituality and the fact that you're, I think you're similar to me. I consider myself a polytheist, meaning I believe in all religions. And because I think they're all amazing and they all have universal lessons that like to teach us. But I just really resonated with how you spoke about God. And the gifts of trials and tribulations that God gives us and how magical it is. And that, you know, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, infinite intelligence, Jesus, Buddha, gives us what we need, not necessarily what we want. And Haythem is a beautiful example of that. One thing I want to double click on before we talk about fitness and then wrap this up is you said this in the beginning of the conversation and you called them, you've had 3 big like resets in your life and each one coincided with travel. So Australia was big reset number 1. Ethiopia was big reset number 2. And then Netherlands with the mushroom experience was big reset number 3. And in my own journey, changing my physical environment has been one of the most powerful ways to change my life. And I'm just curious, Haythem, if you would share with the audience, like why you believe travel or changing your environment is important for people who may feel stuck.
Yeah, that is a great point. Because I never really, of course, I never really looked at it that way. Yes, environment does it. Environment does it for you. And of course, there comes a point where you need to look at yourself and like, there comes a point in a spiritual journey where you need to be okay wherever you are, right? So you need that is there for sure. But it's Michael Singer calls it low hanging fruit. Don't try to let go of somebody. Don't try to let go of like things that are very heavy in life, like a breakup. Try to let go of the weather, for example. You know, so like when it comes to that, it's like when it comes to that, if you are stuck, the easiest thing to do is to change your environment because it takes you away from your rut routine. That's why a lot of people who are addicted to drugs, for example, and you take them away from this environment, you take them somewhere else, they stop using. Like there was this famous study with like this US veterans who went to Vietnam and they were addicted to amphetamines or something.
Heroin.
Heroin, right? And then they came back to the US and most of them stopped using. You know, it's because the environment changed. You know, you change your environment, you can make big changes real fast. So mushrooms, for example, an insane fast track to that, but I wouldn't necessarily say that you need that, right? And you also don't need to move countries for a year like me. Changing your environment means to look at your life and seeing what kind of brings you down. For me, in my youth, it was my friends. Like there were some of my friends who were very selfish and very like not seeing me and not actually liking me, I would say, you know? So I just, so now I have friends in my life who are very supportive. Like I have people in my life who I can tell them anything I want, and they cheer for me. Like when I have a win, they love it, and I see how much changed that in that sense. So like to change the environment, meaning like I changed the circle I hang around really big. Like there's this famous quote like, show me you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with which I, in my personal experience, think is so true. It's so true. Uh, show me your friends and I show you who you are. And I show you who you are. This is really true. Like friends is very important when it comes to environment. To change that, to change if you're not satisfied with the social circle, try to hang out with other people. Like try to find people to hang out with. And I think a big change if you're in a rut is to seek discomfort. And seek discomfort is nothing else than changing your environment. It's changing your routine. Like don't do the same things you're doing every day. If you drive to work this way, try to do another way. Try to stop after work and go to this mountain. Try to go to another supermarket. Like simple things. Try to change things up. Try to go on social events you would usually avoid. That is a big thing. A big thing is to go on social events, to meet people, to get out of to just get out of your comfort zone, just to do new stuff. And I feel like in my life, that is what slowly cracked me open, because by doing that, I was putting myself in positions where I was forced to grow, you know, and I didn't know I would end up there. You know, it just happened. Like I was like, there's a situation. I'm gonna do this now. I want to change my environment in that sense, and then um, it made me grow, because you see, like we grow by new experiences. If we always do the same thing, we're not gonna grow. So that's why you see like people who are um, you see people who are 30 and very wise, and you see like people who are 60 and they're still children, you know. And that is because they didn't do much new stuff. And I have to confront myself with that as well. Like that sometimes you get in a rut and doing the same thing. And I had to also look at myself and say like, hey, I'm not doing much stuff. That was recently. Like I was like, I'm not doing much new stuff. I need to go on this social event I don't want to do. I need to go on this run. I need to go do new stuff. Like you always have to get yourself to change your environment. I think is very, very, it can do so much for your mental health. It can do so much. If you think that you're stuck right now, or like you think that something is wrong in your life, try to change it up, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you make an incredible point. Like you don't have to go travel abroad to change your environment. Obviously, that's a very powerful way to do it. So if you have the means and the flexibility to do it, absolutely travel abroad. But, you know, you can change your environment just by going to new social events in your area.
Yes.
Like I have a perfect example of this. I was honestly 3 months ago, feeling kind of uninspired with my work and my life. And then I joined the local pickleball club that plays 6 days a week at different courts across Santa Cruz County. And I now play pickleball 3 to 5 times a week. And I'm so fucking excited about life again and work and everything, because I feel like a little kid again. It's the first time I've played a competitive sport since high school. Because in high school I played soccer. But I literally, like, for 20 plus years, I have not played a competitive sport. And now suddenly I'm playing like pickleball and I'm like obsessed. Like I'm literally playing for like 3 to 4 hours at a time. I'll play until I'm freaking limping off the court. Which
amazing.
Pickleball brings me to the next section I want to cover with you, and then we're going to wrap this up. And that next section is fitness and athletic discipline. Yeah. So what role has fitness played in your transformation within your life?
Yeah, I went through some changes. So like when I was a kid, I was kind of chubbish, you know? Then I lost weight, and actually then I did a course when I was 17, 18. That was even before I traveled to Australia. I always, like, now I realize I had this in me. Like before even, like I was doing this 12-week transformation body transformation. And that's when I get a six pack when I was 18. But this transformation was so rigid, and I was always eating the same thing, that after 12 weeks, I couldn't even look at the food I was eating anymore. So I rebounded heavily. So I gained weight. So I was at 70 kg at that point. 70 k, I don't know how many pounds, 160 maybe, 160 pounds. So then I gained, so while being then traveling in Australia and like after school and being done with Germany, I gained 15 kg, which is like 35 pounds. So then I was overweight again, coming back. And then I was then I lost like, again, like 10 pounds, but I was kind of like this kind of chubby, kind of not. Like I wasn't fat, but my body was just like, there's nothing, this kind of skinny fat, something like this kind of build, right? There was not really something. And then with 24, I stepped into an MMA gym, after not a breakup. So you see, like, it's sometimes like there's a theme here. After that, I couldn't handle. I wanted to escape the pain, and I went. And then I went to this gym, which was 5 minutes away from me. I went and just signed up, and I was training there every day then, and I lost weight, but I wasn't building any muscle. And then I went to. Then I was injured because I did the marathon without training, and I was stupid because I injured my foot and I couldn't train for a month. Like, don't do that. Like, seek discomfort, but don't break your foot, you know? That was so funny. Like, I was like, of course it happened. So like, anyway, I did this happened. Then, I took the time because I was so in the training mode that I was like, okay, I need to train. So I need to go to the gym. And I blew up within like 1 month, because I had muscle memory from the time I was training like a few years back. So I kind of gained muscle fast. So when I came back to the training room, they were like, damn, crazy. So like, anyway, I gained muscle, but I wasn't really lean. I was never really lean since the last time I was lean, I was 18. Okay. Last time I was lean, like six pack kind of, and then since I was 24, 25, I kind of have the same build for like 2 years now, where I'm not really lean. I have some muscle, so in a shirt I look good. When I put my shirt off, it's okay. Like, it's not. It's like, it's kind of disappointing because you think when you see me in a shirt that it's crazy, but it's not. You know, it's so great. Like, a shirt can do a lot if you know how to wear clothes that fit your body type. You're gonna look good, even though under that is the truth, you know. So this happened actually like yesterday, and you know, when you have this feeling when you know you have to change something, when you don't, you're kind of complacent. I was kind of complacent with my body, where I'm training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu maybe like 6 times a week. I'm trying to go to the gym like maybe once or twice a week. So I'm physically active. It's just like it takes more to be lean. Like, if you want to be lean, you have to mean it, right? It doesn't come like just by training. And of course, I'm also eating, and I wasn't really taking care of my diet. So my friend, he's now a fitness coach, and I was telling him, listen, I want to try it. I needed to find a way to get out of my complacency, because I felt like it was also affecting my business. I feel like there's a heavy correlation between having a six pack and making money. Like, I don't know. It's like the same things go for fitness that go for money. I feel like I'm going complacent with my business, and it correlated with me getting complacent with my body. And now, even like today was the first day where I tracked my food, where I tracked my steps, and where I like, and I was like, and already I see the benefit. I already said, damn, this is how many calories I can eat. This is how I can track. This is the steps I need to make. And he laid everything out there. He was like, this is what you need to eat. This is what you need to do, blah, blah. And it's already so much fun because I'm doing it with my friends. But more important, I want to be lean. Like, I think it's the same with business, where I realized that and you guys can keep me accountable in like 3 months. Like I need like 3 to 6 months. I want to just be leaner, you know? And the thing is like I think now came a point where I was like, being ripped not being ripped doesn't make any sense anymore. You know what I mean? It's the same with like my business at that point was like, not doing his business doesn't make any sense anymore. There's this guy, Ramana Maharshi, who's like a spiritual guy, he's a spiritual guru from India. He died in the 1950s, I think. And he's like this question like of who am I? And I think that and he went into deep meditative states and he was like this kind of guru. And I think for him it was also like that. Like I think he described it once where he says that there comes a point in your life, in your spiritual journey, where not meditating, not asking yourself who am I, where not being still doesn't make any sense anymore. It's the only way. There comes a point in your life where it's the only way. This is the only way. This is the only thing you have to do. So that was with my business like that, and now I hope it's with the fitness thing like that because I really want to. Because I'm not unfit, like, you know, there's muscle, there is stuff, but I could be leaner, and I knew it for 2 years now. I could be leaner, you know, and I don't do it out of complacency because I didn't want to eat, I didn't want to get away from my habits, and it's again changing environment, seeking discomfort, you know, and I'm getting back to it now myself. And you always have to check on yourself. You know how you were not inspired, and then you went to pickleball. I feel like it's always gonna be. It's always going to be like a cycle of that. It's like you're going to feel purpose. You need purpose, not like you find it once and it's done. You know, you're going to find it and then we have to reevaluate after like a couple of months and see where you're at. And I feel like that you always have to check on yourself where you are right now. And that is what I finally got the courage to look at. Like, okay, if I don't want to be lean, it's okay. But clearly I want to, like, there's clearly a thought in my mind where I'm like, I would like to be lean and I'm not doing it. That is wrong. You know, if I want to be lean, I'm not doing it. I'm just not showing integrity to myself. And that's what I want to change now with my body too, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love that you decided to get a coach or a mentor for that because I have a kind of like an unspoken rule for myself that if I have a goal that I've been thinking about or talking about for 3 to 6 months, but I've made no progress or very little progress on it, then I need a mentor or a coach to hold me accountable to take the action I need to take to achieve that goal or show me how to get there because I don't know how to get there. So I think sometimes we can do things without the help of other people. But if we have a goal that like we're not getting any traction on, like humans are designed to like grow together. Like we are like, that is just like fundamentally a part of being a human is like helping one another like grow. So I love that you're doing that. So let's start to land this plane. I'm going to ask you the closing questions. So the three things that I want you to cover is a tip, tool, or strategy for fitness/health. One for money/wealth, and one for life/happiness.
Okay, great. So
start with fitness because go ahead.
Fitness health is already what I mentioned. Get a mentor. Track your food is huge. I mean, already with one day, I'm like, damn, it's so crazy to see that. Track your food, and have somebody who keeps you accountable. That's why I said the mentor thing, you know. So track your food, do walk a lot. You know, that does a lot already. And also like try to make it fun. Like I'm making it fun now with my friends. I'm also like I'm doing jiu-jitsu with my friends, so it's kind of like a fun thing to do. So, but two big things is mentor and track your food.
I love it. Yeah, just so you know, the audience probably knows, but I'll tell you because you may not know. I
Mm.
tracked my food every day for
Wow.
10 years
And
straight.
what? 10 years
Yeah.
to track your food every day.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been intuitively eating for the last year and a half, 2 years, and I'm still pretty lean. I'm still sub 10% body fat, but I was similar to, I think similar to your situation where I called myself kind of fit, kind of fat. So like
Yes,
similar to you,
that's it. That's
like I
exactly.
look good in a shirt, but I take the shirt off and I'm like, there's no six pack here. And then, I worked with my first fitness coach, at the end of 2013, and at age 32 or 33 I got a six pack for the first time in my life.
Wow.
And then I
Mm.
realized the power of tracking food. And so the reason I've had a six pack for 10 years is because I tracked my food. So now I'm at a point where I can intuitively eat and do it, but I don't think people need to track their food for 10 years straight. I just had uh, healing work to do with my relationship with food and my relationship with my body, and tracking my food was a part of that healing journey for me.
That's wild. Like I am where you were a few years ago, and that is so exciting because I've tracked food before, but I stopped. Obviously, then I gained weight again. But tracking food is such a game changer, and I forgot how much game changer it is because every time I eat, I'm like thinking I have to track it. So
Yeah.
anyway, but this is so tracking food is game changing. If you can stick to this habit, it's gonna change
Yeah.
a lot already. Yeah.
Here's how I frame it for my coaching clients, and
Mm.
this may be really helpful for you because you're so spiritual.
Yeah.
For me, tracking my food was my form of mindful eating. So instead of
Mm.
mindfulness, like having a mindfulness practice, tracking my food was a way for me to pause for like 1 or 2 minutes and just be mindful of what I was putting into my body.
Mm.
And so when I thought about it as kind of like a meditative practice to develop a better relationship with my food and my body, it wasn't like, oh God, I have to track my food. It was like, no, I'm going to take 1 to 2 minutes and meditate on what I'm actually putting into my body before I eat it. And it changed my life. So hopefully that'll
That's
be a
amazing.
helpful frame of mind for you.
That's amazing because I think there kind of gonna come times where you resent it or like you was looking at it as just like a tracker thing, but like
Yeah.
it's still something that there's opportunities to connect to it. So that's great. That's really great. That's great way of looking at food in general, right? So amazing. Cool.
So give us the money/wealth tip tooler strategy.
Yeah, money. Obviously, I'm 27, so
You
yeah, that's
still made $10,000 in one day and you're making a living working online, which is pretty fucking amazing. Many people would kill to have the ability to make money online.
you're right. You're right. You're right. Yes, I would say optimize for freedom. Optimize for freedom is a big thing. Was a big thing for me. Um, I optimized for making money. I was burned out, no purpose, depressed, and not fun to be around. Then I optimized for freedom, and I basically now I can do whatever I want. So I don't want to work like because my business became my corporate job. It's like I'm working again for this thing where I hate. That's what I wanted to avoid. So whatever you do, first make money with something you like would be a good thing. That would actually help. Like that is something that I took me some time, but this is now actually really nice what I'm doing. What I like doing it. So this is number one. Number two, like optimize for freedom, like optimize for, and the money you get for freedom is different for somebody else, right? Somebody who lives really minimalistic, it looks different. And for somebody who, if you want a lot of stuff, cool. Like if we have to be honest about what we want. If I want to have a big car, there's nothing wrong about that. Like if I want to have a Ferrari, there's nothing. Like, of course, I mean, it can get to a point where like okay, but like if you are like a car enthusiast and you have been playing with Ferraris your whole life, like you play automobiles, like this kind you've been obsessing over it and you would like to have it. And this is your definition. What's the definition of freedom? And then create that. So I would say that looks different for some for looks different for other people, but you don't just do something just because you think it makes good money. Do something that you like and optimize for freedom. And the thing that's also I learned, the thing you like, to make money with the thing you like, often is a longer path than the thing that can make immediate money. So it's okay to take the longer path to be there. Like if you take the path like for 5 years instead of 2 years, but then you're gonna be happy for the rest of your life. It's a good investment. So that's how I try to look at it.
I love it.
Yeah.
And life/happiness.
Yeah. That's something I need to remind myself a lot. Is like, not at the end of the day, my business is not important. At the end of the day, this is all not important. What is important is that you need to find a way where you can be present with yourself and present with life and trust life. That's why for me spirituality and religion works so well. It's because it just gives all the anxiety away. So there's a huge correlation between happiness and having faith that life knows what it's doing, and realizing that a lot of stuff we're doing in life is to distract ourselves. The going on the phone when you are bored, the the going out, the drinking, the drugs, whatever. It's a lot of distraction, and it's distracting from being with yourself. So we need to find a way where we can have faith in life and to enjoy our own company, even if there's nothing to do. You don't have to listen to a podcast every time you go to a car. You don't have to like have stimulation all the time. I feel like sometimes I go through my day and I notice that sometimes I have days I go through my day, I spend 0 minutes with myself. That's crazy. Like I need to take time of the day where I just spend time with myself. I don't have to be sitting and meditating. I can just be walking without the phone. I can be sitting just and being bored or thinking. So I think that these two things, with like having faith in life and trying to spend actual time with myself, every time I really focus on that, my happiness comes with it. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Well, Heythem, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. It's crazy to me that you're only 27 and you have so much wisdom inside you already. But, after learning that you've traveled to 40 countries and gone through some pretty wild experiences, it really does make a lot of sense. So I really appreciate you taking the time and the energy to be with me. For those who are watching or listening, it is 12:30 a.m. in Haythem's part of the world. So he's been a total champ and recorded with me late into the night because he's, here to share his message and help and serve people to, create a life that they absolutely love. And, we talked about his failure, his self-responsibility, his reinvention, his creativity, making money online, traveling, threads growth, fitness as a foundation, and so much more. So, Heythem, if people want to connect with you after they listen to the show, I know it's Heythem Naji on Threads. That's HeythenNaji. And that is also, it's HeythamNaji.com, your
Yeah,
website, correct?
exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. other than website, Threads, any other place you want to tell people to connect with you?
Well, if you just type in Haythem Naji, you're gonna go to my Instagram, my Threads, my website, my Twitter, Medium. Like I'm blessed with a unique name, blessed my parents. So yeah, I mean, any way you want to connect with me. I also have, if you are an upcoming writer and you want to learn, you can go on YouTube, and I just recorded a workshop on how to make money with writing online. So you can go
Awesome.
on YouTube, Haythem Naji as well. So yeah.
We'll put a link to the workshop in the show notes
All
too.
right.
So
Yeah.
make it super easy so people can just go to their podcast player, look at the show notes, and click the hyperlink and get right to your workshop.
Sounds good.
Haythem, brother, I'm so grateful to be a part of your online engagement group. I'm so grateful for your course and for getting to know you better and better, especially after this podcast. I know you so much better. But yeah, again, just deep thank you for sharing your experience and your journey with us on the Fit Rich Life podcast today.
Yeah, man. Justin, I appreciate you very much. Like, you actually made me feel seen, and you really got to know me even before you talked to me. So I don't take this lightly. So thanks so much.
My pleasure,
Yeah.
brother. We'll have you back in the future, and you'll go from 46,000 followers on Threads to hundreds of thousands, and we'll talk about your journey of getting there without sacrificing your freedom for money, but still making lots of money along the way.
And ask about my body, please.
Yes.
Keep me accountable.
Yes. 100%. All right, brother. Thanks for coming.
Awesome. Thank you.